Hi everyone, thank you again for looking at the next posting of Fight the Texas Driver Responsibility Law. In this one I'm going to go over the funds that the Texas Mobility Fund has received in comparison to the trauma centers in the hospitals. Okay, now how everything is supposed to work, that basically the hospitals get 49.9 or 49.5% of the revenue from the surcharge, and the Texas Mobility Fund gets the other half. The trauma centers receive 49.5% and the Texas Mobility Fund will receive 49.5%. So it's supposed to be an equal distribution to both of them. However, that's not what has been happening. The trauma centers have only received about maybe a quarter, maybe a little over a quarter of what they should have received from the DRL funds. Okay, so far the amount that's been collected so far for the surcharges is $228 million. Okay, that is the amount that has been collected from Texans that have paid their surcharges. So therefore, you would think that half of that should go to the hospitals. No, only $148 million has gone to the hospitals. And if you would like to see what I'm talking about, I hope you can see this. This right here is the collected overall, and this right here is what the trauma centers and hospitals actually have received. That is very different than 50%. It should go straight down the line, and it hasn't. This is overall. This is up to date in the year 2007. So far, the trauma centers have only received $148 million. This is how much the Texas Mobility Fund has received over the past 3 years. 2005, 2006, 2007. 116 million, almost 117. This is 84 million for 2006, and this is 140 million for 2007. I think that's definitely more than what was collected. So basically, why is the trauma centers not getting as much as what the Texas Mobility Fund is getting? Why is it that they are separate, equal entities supposed to get separate, equal funds? Well, unfortunately, guys, I don't know if you know about hospital funding and how policy works with the hospitals, but hospitals cannot operate unless they receive funding. Their funding is everything to them. And unfortunately, the DRL stipulates that if a hospital is already receiving funding, or I believe if they are in a certain bracket, then they are not to receive any of the DRL funds. And it has been a really big problem out there for hospitals to actually receive their funding. A report by the Texas Hospital Association noted that questions still remain on the mechanics of how and when the money might finally be paid. The law, the DRL, was originally hailed by Governor Perry as a way to raise $1 billion for the state's trauma hospitals by 2008. So far, it's only netted facilities a 4-year total amount of $167 million. The state trauma network incurs about $200 million annually in uncompensated costs from uninsured and underinsured persons in need of emergency treatment. Further exacerbating the problem is the little publicized disconnect between the amount of collections for trauma already sitting in the state account versus how much funding hospitals already have received from the state. This is a very important bill for trauma, and it does provide a regional funding mechanism for a regional problem, says Dr. Ronald Stewart, Trauma Director of San Antonio's University Hospital. But my concern is the legislature has chosen not to disperse all of the money. They should disperse the dollars for what they are intended for. Since the program began, University, the top tier, Level 1 civilian trauma center for 22 South Texas counties, has seen more than $10 million in reimbursements under the program. The military's 2 local Level 1 facilities, Brooke Army Medical and Wilford Hall Medical Centers, which also help care for the regional's injured civilians, have paid $7.6 million and $4 million respectively. Now that is not an actual fact, okay? So please know that that is a question mark about the Brooke Army Medical and the Wilford Hall Medical Centers, okay? The other level local trauma centers, such as like the Methodist and Baptist and Christian systems, they have received funding from the program, although the amounts were less than the level 1 facilities, so they've gotten much less funding. Before 2003, funding for hospitals was like the lottery. The lucky one won the money. Now, Dinah Welsh, that's the Texas Hospital Association's Director of Advocacy for Public Policy, she basically says it's hard to step back and not continue the fight for full funding. For 2006 and 2007, we're basically getting 25 cents on the dollar for what's in the fund for hospitals. A measure quietly attached to the 2006-2007 budget on a partial stopper in funding flow. Rider 84 of Senate Bill 1 puts limitations on the funds to the trauma hospitals in 2006 and contributed to the lag in appropriations. While $80.6 million was collected for trauma that year, only $56.6 million was distributed, according to the Hospital Association report. Yeah, look at that. This is basically the net assets received for the Texas Mobility Fund. This is for their services of violations, fines, and penalties. And right there highlighted is the funds that they have had absolutely no problem receiving. So I'm going to try to post this online. If you guys want to know where I got this info, you just go to Texas Legislature online, and it's really hard to look up, but look up House Bill 3588. And this is the condensed charges and net assets. Okay, this is the financial analysis of the Mobilities Fund financial statements. Okay, I'll also try to post it online for you. Basically, guys, the trauma center's not getting their money. The Mobility Fund has no problem getting theirs. Okay, so now after 4 years, it looks as if the DRL was only passed to fund our Texas highways. Unfortunately, that's what the stats look like. So thank you very much again for your time. Thank you for looking at the next posting. Please sign the petition. Join the MySpace page. I encourage you guys to get into the documentary, and that will be the next posting, is giving you information regarding the documentary. Let's bring this to legislature. 2009, January. Let's propose a bill, bring it together, and let's repeal this law. Thank you very much again for your time, and good luck to you.